All right, guys, game number 3, it is upon us. And in fact, let me just go ahead and let them know that we are ready. Yeah, we are ready. Good luck, have fun. There we go. So the countdown should be getting started here in the near future, and we are going to be going into game number 3 between Complexity and Trademark eSports. Again, what is on the line? The winner will go on to the grand finals. The loser will have to play TT eSports in a series just after this, actually, which, of course, we are going to be covering as well in the losers bracket final. So Complexity, they're already going to DreamHack, but they're playing for prize pool money at this point, where TDM is playing for both prize pool money and, of course, the chance to go to DreamHack themselves. So much is on the line. And, you know, like I said, though, I'm not surprised we're at a game 3 here, though, Trev.
Yeah, they're playing for prize pool money and pride on top of that. But the game actually has begun. The blind mans have begun. So let's go ahead and jump into the game, guys. TDM is on the left side. They're on the Legion side, sorry. And Complexity is on the Hellborn side. So a couple different things that have changed since then. TDM, of course, they did win when they were in that first pick. And they go ahead and actually, with the blind bans being completed, Complexity actually bans out Tundra and Wildsoul this time, so not going with the Jeremiah ban. And then Legion, of course, they banned Ophelia and then Bubbles yet again. And then the first lock, I should say, with that Pebbles. And that's a hero that I know that Minuts and TDM love to run, especially in that mid lane. They'd like to do a dual lane mid with something like an Luna Pebbles or maybe a Glacius Pebbles. And it fits their style very well.
Yeah, so, of course, with them having that first pick, you know, very good chance that they may end up going with him on top of them. But Tempest, Keeper of the Forest, the follow-ups for Complexity, I think that may have actually been the same way the last game went. There's a Parasite on top of that, followed up by Gemini, actually. Something tells me Gemini is a little bit trollish, as Pharaoh is the final lock. So that locking phase actually went very, very quickly there between these two teams. But very jungle-heavy, and then you got your Pebbles and Pharaoh really on top of it. Again, Gemini, I don't think we're going to see him as awesome as that would be here in Game 3, but
that would be pretty fun to watch, but yeah, I don't expect to see him. Wow, Snap bans coming out. Fade, Dark Lady, Meraxis is now that next ban. A lot of good stuff, of course, on the table. Draconis, you got to eye him. Magebane, Silhouette. Dark Lady, of course, is banned out, but the strong supports are there as well. Being Nymphora, you got to think about Nymphora, especially if you're eyeing that Pebbles as a first pick. That Nymphora Pebbles combination, very, very strong indeed. Yeah. And then, of course, the Luna, Glacius, very strong laning supports. The strongest in the game, really. B-Kid actually bans out Silhouette. So if you're looking at hard carries, you're probably eyeballing that Magebane, eyeballing that Draconis. I would expect Draconis to be banned right here, 100,000%. If he's not, I expect him to be picked 100,000%.
Yeah, of course,
so,
yeah.
We'll see what B-Kid does here. We'll see if he values him enough or is scared of him enough to go ahead and give
At the same time, though, he is going to ban Draconis, but now I'm curious if TDM is going to first pick Magebane here and maybe take Complexity a little bit out of their comfort zone. Granted, we've seen it before. They usually go to Warbeast as kind of their backup plan, and obviously that works out very. In fact, Warbeast was even blind banned the first game, if I recall correctly, by Trademark eSports. So, you know, it does put a little bit interesting twist here for Trademark eSports in terms of who they might overall first pick here. But as you also stated, I mean, there isn't a Nymphora on the board, and if they do choose to go Pebbles on top of that, Nymphora Pebbles so deadly. So some decision definitely to be made here with the first pick for TDM. It's really not obvious.
I do agree with you, though. I think Magebane actually, even first pick here, is the right way to go with all the other carries banned out, with Fade banned out. I was going to mention Glacius as the other idea, but the thing is Glacius and Luna are both in that pool. Now, one of the scary things, though, is if you do go with that Magebane, say Complexity decides to throw a curveball at you and pick both Glacius and Luna, then you're not going to have the strongest laning support with what's probably going to be a Pebbles mid. So I think what they want to do is really secure that strong lane mid, being Pebbles Glacius, and that's their top priority right now. They have other things they can substitute, I feel like, for that carry role. They can still go, they can even go like a Zephyr in the short lane. They can go FA in the short lane. That works too.
Corrupted Disciple.
They could go Corrupted. That would work actually with Pebbles Initiation. I didn't like Corrupted Disciple last draft at all.
Yeah. But
it could work here if you're looking to pick up Pebbles. So.
Yeah, obviously B-Kid using a little bit of time here, but sure enough, there we go. Magebane and Luna are the follow-up picks now for Complexity. So, yeah, you look at TDM here, unless they want to have a Gemini carry from the lock pool, they definitely should look to invest into picking up a carry here. So, yeah, I think that Corrupted Disciple, despite it not being the most effective last game, I think Noob G and TDM as a whole have really proven that they just love him as a carry choice and may be the best option here. But we'll see what it is in the end. Of course, again, Nymphora also still left on the board. Obviously, can fit very well with that Pebbles if they do choose to pick him up. But some options here.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to Nymphora. That's just too heavy on support.
Yeah.
And I mean, they could go 2 dual lanes. They're going to go with Moon Queen Jerizaya. Wow.
Jerizaya was there, yeah.
Very interesting lineup. So something tells me they're going to go, okay, I think they're going to go a solo Moon Queen short lane. Jerizaya is going to be playing that suicide role. And that's if they pick Pebbles. And I really feel like with a first lock coming out from my nuts on Pebbles, I really feel like that's what they want to pick, is that Pebbles pickup. Jerizaya, he actually can do well in that suicide lane because he has the heal, he has the protective charm. He also doesn't really need that much farm to be effective in team fights. And he really forces the other team to go on him. And that's why he's so powerful. That's why he's always banned. We never see him picked, but we're actually seeing him picked today.
We see him banned especially by B-Kid.
Yeah.
Usually one of the 2 blind bans are always Jerizaya, but B-Kid. But happened to not be at this game, and it makes it the whole banning phase. And sure enough, picked up here. So for a player, especially like, I mean, it's not like it didn't just go through B-Kid's mind that, oh, crap, I forgot to ban Jerizaya. There's no way he would do that. But how about that response from Complexity? Succubus is the regular final pick. So this is game 3, baby, and this just got really interesting.
I don't know if I like the Succubus pick. I really think TDM is going to pick Pebbles here, and that's going to be a Glacius Pebbles dual lane mid. And if that's a Succubus solo mid, which is probably going to be with Mage Bane and Luna already picked, and that's going to go short lane, I'm sure. Succubus is not going to be able to do anything, really. I mean, if they transition a Luna down there to that mid lane early, they can actually have a good dual range mid against Pebbles Glacius, and then just have a solo Mage Bane against the Suicide Jerizaya, which could be fine. I mean, that would actually work out, but I still think Glacius Pebbles is very strong. If someone gets caught out from that lane, from that combo, it's very easy to down them. Glacius Pebbles is a very popular lane for quite some time. So they're thinking a long time, though, about their lock. They're deciding if they really want to go that Pebbles pick. It was first locked again, so it'd be interesting if it wasn't picked.
You know, I like this. Extra time is there for a reason. I do think sometimes, even if it may seem so obvious, why not just take the little bit of extra time just to make sure, overlook your options. They're going to go with Keeper of the Forest, actually, instead, as their first pickup here. And now Complexity, they have some choices themselves to make, but what do you make of that, Keeper of the Forest?
There's a number of reasons. I think their thinking is they don't want to take Pebbles. If they do take Pebbles, they're going to have to go like a support Succubus in a lane. They're going to have to go Succubus Pebbles in a lane, which, mind you, could maybe work. They go with the Suicide, and then they go with the Jungler. So they expected that. Yeah, definitely a Pebbles pickup here. That's going to be a Suicide. I still think that's going to be a Suicide Jerizaya and a Pebbles Glacius mid. If they throw a curveball at me and pick like Gemini, I'm going to...
There you go, Gemini.
No, okay, it is the Pebbles pick. So Glacius Pebbles mid, most likely. Noob G playing that Moon Queen's probably going to be soloing up against that Suicide Pharaoh. And the Keeper of the Force, of course, being in that jungle. So good picks coming out from both sides. I can't say I really give an edge to either one at this point, but I still think that when you're giving Pebbles a free farm lane, and if he does get that free farm, he is scary. And you got Jerizaya on top of that. You put a protective charm on the Moon Queen, she's going to be dishing out damage. So.
Oh, yeah. That's, of course, a big downfall of what we talk about Moon Queen is that she can be very, very squishy, and her attack range is so low. And, especially with her ultimate, she needs to be running near heroes, of course. But you put a protective charm on, and, it reduces a lot of the chance of her not being useful in the earlier game, especially. So that is very, very dangerous. And I'm honestly still shocked that we see a Jerizaya here against Complexity. I mean, again, B-Kid has really stressed so much that he does not like that hero, and it shows with his bans. But it made it through. And Trademark eSports, they pick it up with their even third pick, or second and third pick. So very, very good for them. Now, Complexity, do they have a Conqueror team?
They do. And Tempest actually picked up. Yeah, they do, because Pharaoh has the Hellfire. He got it level 1. They can easily get this with the Hellfire. With the if Mage Bane gets that mana combustion, it's also going to do extra damage and burn his mana. They're going to go for it. They're going to go for it. This could be really scary. They put out that early ward, and hopefully TDM knows something's up. And I don't think they do, because Complexity's not a team that usually does this, but they're going all out, and this could prove to be hugely beneficial for them.
Oh, obviously they have absolutely no clue, and I think you said it right there. I mean, if this was Dendi's Jungle Devos, or if this was a team that maybe we just don't know much about, there is that possibility, sure. But Complexity, you really would never expect this from a level 1 Conqueror. But
taking so much
it is happening. Yeah, Haxford needs to be careful not to die. That would be embarrassing. Haxford has died to Conqueror. Guys, they're doing Conqueror. Obviously, that's not going to happen though. He'll be fine. Putting the regen up, and Conqueror looks like at this rate he is going to fall. Now, I talk about this all the time. Why don't teams spread out? Why don't teams try to Would you rather see experience go to all one hero, or are you fine with them spreading out to everyone?
I think spreading is fine.
Okay.
They're actually going to be a little bit of trouble right here. It's taking a little bit too much damage on all their heroes. Hellfire isn't up for another 8 seconds. I still think they're going to get this, but they're going to be a little bit late to the lanes. That's one downfall. Mageman's actually taking a lot of damage. Jesse's taking a lot of damage. Oh, this is one of the scary. They're still going to get this. The Hellfire is up now on Pharaoh, so they will get this Kongor. And look at the lead already. 1K gold, about 1,700 experience. The Aegis has not been... Oh, no, it has been picked up. No, it hasn't.
How do they not talk about this? Okay, he is... I was going to say, you're doing a level 1 Kongor. The first thing you should decide is who's going to get the token of life.
Right.
Took them a while, but okay, there we go. Finally picked up. And apparently Moon Meander giving a shout-out to Navi right there. But yeah, level 1 Kongor happening. Game 3 here in the Winners Bracket Finals. Can't say I saw that coming.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. And I mean, I feel like there's certain heroes that should signal a red flag about a Kongor. One of them is Gauntlet. Of course, one of them is Pharaoh. And those are the heroes that make it quite easy, actually, to take a level 1 Kongor.
Yeah.
A Succubus, regardless, she is going to have the token, and they're going to have basically a straight-up dual lane mid. That's what I thought was going to happen, so good job by Complexity reading those lanes. And they should be just fine down here. Noob G playing this this Moon Queen is actually going to have a... I feel like he's actually going to have a little bit of a hard time down here against Pharaoh, who not only got that free level, now level 3, but he has a shield and hatchet. And he should be able to get pretty much all the last hits he wants to.
Yeah.
And you know, there's some beams coming out, so Noob G wants to get everything he can. But top lane, this is going to be the interesting one. Jerizaiya against Magebane. The only thing I think about this is Jerizaiya should have a decent time, but Jerizaiya, again, like I said, is not a hero that you really need that much farm on.
Yeah.
And he can't really harass Magebane out of the lane. Magebane can simply just keep pressuring him with auto attacks and do just fine that way.
Now, the last time we saw level 1 Kongor, you brought up this interesting point. I don't think you said it. You're saying that somebody else brought it up, Hal. If you get a level 1 Kongor, honestly, you should not lose the game.
Right.
Do you think that should be the case here for Complexity?
I mean, there's a lot of other factors, like they got to the lanes a little bit late. The lanes aren't as strong as TDMs, but of course they do have the levels. And with those levels provide lots of you know, burst damage coming out from Succubus, burst damage and good spells coming out from Illumina. I mean, look, she's already level 3 against this lane. So, yeah, I do feel like in competitive play, if you get a token, if you get that massive experience and gold at the start, you really should have an easy time in all of your lanes. But it just comes down to play. Like if the Complexity screws up, like we saw, what was it, Denny's Jungle Divas do that, and the Witch Slayer died twice in mid to a very aggressive lane. And actually down here, Aluna has an Invis rune. Moon Queen's in a ton of trouble. She's going to die most likely. Franz, who picks up that last hit, gets that Bloodlust. So right there, I mean, being able to roam like that, say they did not kill Kongor, you'd expect Aluna to be maybe level 1. Maybe level 2 if she was lucky. But it plays a huge factor.
Yeah.
Or sorry, I should say it plays a huge role.
Yeah, it plays a huge role, no doubt. And obviously, great start here for Complexity. The level 1 Kongor kill, the early Bloodlust kill on the Moon Queen especially. Really just good. 2,000 gold lead. We're only 3 minutes into the game. You have a 2,000 gold lead. That right there is just superb as far as being this early on in the game. Beacon on Succubus. He has a token of life for another 4 minutes here, so he's still got plenty of time before he needs to worry maybe about getting dropped. Magebane at the top lane, taking a little bit of harassment, auto attack damage from Jerizaiya, but of course he just burns all his mana and then blinks away. Speaking of that matchup, Jerizaiya 13-2 against a 14-2 Magebane. So yeah, actually Magebane is definitely able to hold his own here at the top side and actually even win and farm. Tempest is also heading over a little bit though, and now Chessie gonna try to set up another kill. Magebane blinks in, Chessie comes in with a taunt, the ultimate comes out, and Jerizaiya will eventually fall from this. There we go, and Haxorin actually managed to pick up the last hit right there for the kill.
Yeah, good job by him. I mean, look at that. Tempest before that was already level 6. Compare that to Keeper. Keeper, of course, Moon Meander gets another kill. This time it's a solo kill on a Noob G. This is what I'm talking about. When you have those levels and you're up against that, I mean, that should be... Moon Queen should have actually a better time down here, but the fact that Pharaoh had a very fast level 3 way before Moon Queen did, and of course the gank coming out from Aluna, she is not going to be able to farm in this lane at all. They're going to have to make some adjustments. And do you gimp Moon Queen's farm and make Pebbles have a hard time against this dual lane? I don't think so. I think you're going to still have to put your eggs in the basket of Pebbles, hope for an early portal key that way. But either way, Complexity has a huge lead due to that Kongor level 1.
Yeah. Yeah, again, you got to wonder a little bit, too, if Complexity... I'm trying to think who locked Pharaoh. I don't think it was Complexity. But anyways, let me actually just take it. It's lock Pharaoh. It was Complexity, actually, so it was the final lock by Complexity. And again, not to say that there was a reason. Moon Queen, by the way, again is going to fall down here at the bottom lane. Pharaoh this time using the Wrath of the Pharaoh to get in there. The Mummy Walls go up, the Hellfire applied. And Moon Queen, just nothing she can do, especially by herself. So the levels, it just keeps going back to the level 1 Conqueror, the advantage it gave them, and they really are starting to snowball a little bit with it, even as a team. But the question being, though, as I was just about to say, did Complexity plan this almost from the beginning of the pick stage, or was it a case of, hey, we actually have a decent Conqueror killing team, let's go ahead and try a level 1 Conqueror? I mean, what do you think?
I don't think any team plans for a level 1 Conqueror, because whenever you start to plan for it, it becomes too obvious, I feel like.
Yeah.
I think it was more of, they have they have kind of weak team fight, being Keeper of the Forest and I don't know, Moon Queen. Well, I just think they were thinking, we have a good team makeup for it. And they went with it, and unfortunately TDM wasn't able to spot it. They didn't check with the courier or anything like that. And of course, you can't really blame them. I mean, most of this doesn't happen. I mean, this is why this is seldom used.
Yeah.
But it was used appropriately, and it was very effective. So
exactly.
Token of Life is actually 1 more minute on Succubus, so still having free reign basically in this mid lane. If you look at the CS, pretty much all around the board, Complexity is winning in every aspect. Everyone is out farming everyone in their respective roles. So, yeah.
Glacius has come down here to the bottom lane. I mean, he's basically playing babysit for Moon Queen now because of how much trouble she's had, and so they've given up on Limp here in the middle lane on Pebbles of having a successful time on him. Not that it was a successful time. Even he was struggling, especially against that Succubus Luna there in the middle lane. So I guess it's a case of really they might as well here. But look at again. Pharaoh's down to the Mummy Wall goes up. In comes the Hellfire. He does have a Wrath of the Pharaoh as well. No, but he misses it actually. And Moon Queen now can turn this around. Maybe. Yeah. Pharaoh, we're going to see Nice Prince that's already used, actually. There's the Moon Beam. He's going to run back in. He's going to go for a kill himself. He actually uses the power supply, but Moon Queen running back in. There's another Moon Beam, and Noob G will pick up the kill. So Moon Meander trying to get a little bit crafty there, but missing the Wrath of the Pharaoh didn't help him.
That was kind of moment. But actually in the mid lane, Pebbles in a lot of trouble. The ultimate coming out from Succubus as well. The auto attack damage and the snipe from a Luna. It does get a stun off, but it's not going to be enough. So a very easy kill. The Token of Life is now up, though, for Succubus. Nope, sorry, a couple more seconds. 2 more seconds. Now it's gone.
And gone.
So now can't kill her. But yeah, that was kind of a blunder there from Moon in the bottom lane. Doesn't matter, though, because Moon Queen is still has 32 CS, so kind of surprised about that. So Noob, she's still CSing quite well.
Yeah.
And you still have a Jerizai on your team. It's not over yet. They're just at a very, very huge deficit.
7.5 minutes in. I would hope it's not over yet. So.
Well, I'm referring to the fact that the statement mean that
obviously,
Conqueror, if you get Conqueror, it should be a pretty easy road to victory.
Yeah.
Action, of course, free farming in this top lane. Zai, let's check out his CS. He's actually only 19-2. Can't blame him, though, against the roam coming out from Tempest early on top of the, just being against a Mage Bane, it makes it difficult. Tempest, by the way, let's talk about Jesse's farm. He does have a Ring of Sorcery on top of another 600 gold, so if Tempest wasn't already a good farmer, well, it's going to make it even easier with that Conqueror kill. Yeah. Has the boots already delivered to him, so on top of the boots has 700 gold. So he's doing really well.
Yeah, having a fairly easy time, to say the least here, is Chessie. I mean, you kind of compare that to Keeper of the Forest. Again, this Keeper's been having a solid time himself. I mean, he's farming 280 gold per minute. He is level 7, which is the top in the team. Was actually tied with his teammate on Moon Queen. But, again, you do compare it, and as we keep saying, level 1 Conqueror no doubt played a huge role. Jerizai is in a lot of trouble right here. I don't know if he's actually spotted, but he's going to try to sneak out. But Tempest is going to run over. No, but Jerizai just a little bit too quick, and he'll be fine in the end. So yeah, Tempest was kind of there for a little bit, was trying to maybe scout him out. But Jerizai is fine, and he sneaks on out of there. But obviously he's not able to really do much in terms of farm himself. Now, Succubus just actually picked up Striders as their first time to pick up, as well as Mystic Investment. What do you make of that?
Doesn't want to get gibbed by Pebbles. Yeah. So I saw his gold. It was at like 1,750 or so, and I thought he was just going to go for a straight portal key right away, but just does not want to give Pebbles any leeway. Does not want to be able to be susceptible to Pebbles gank, and so that Vestments is going to mitigate a lot of damage. Now, Keep the Force again. Just kind of free farming in this jungle, but is going to get out farmed, I think, by Tempest, especially with that Conqueror kill. So Keeper needs to make a play happen. Bottom lane, though, Moon Meander's in a lot of trouble. The ultimate comes out from Moon Queen. It's hitting creeps. It only hit Moon actually once, but doesn't matter. Still gets the auto tech to finish on Moon. So yeah, that's the RNG factor coming out. Of course, you were next to creeps. You got to expect that to happen, but nonetheless, still gets one of those beams, I believe, and able to get a good kill on Moon Meander. So kind of changing the pace a little bit in this TDM, and Yeah, we'll have to see. The Keeper's coming down here. Does have those level 4 tree ants, and will probably push this bottom lane. Moonmander's dead for another 8 seconds. Only has 1 in that Tormented Soul, of course. When you're in that solo role, normally you always max out that Hellfire, especially when you get at level 1 for Kongor.
Well, we do see Jerizai, he's playing very, very passive, knows that something's up, and it's just not worth for him. But meanwhile, in the bottom lane, actually a pretty good push coming. Of course, Keeper the Forest coming to the lane, spawn to the trees. And this tower will fall. You have Pharaoh nearby, but nothing that he can do to stop that. So, I mean, you said it. TDM, they're starting to get something going here. And, you know, they have a Jerizai, sure, not a great farm, but kept talking about, you know, that's not really the biggest thing on him. As long as he's in the levels, that's fine. He is level 7, not too shabby. He's going to be jumped right here, though. In comes the Aluna stun. Port coming in, but the Mana Rift is used, and Magebane got the easy kill. Magebane ported in, actually, and Magebane will also fall as a result of that. Keeper the Force running in. 9 time. The Root going to be used, but at what cost right here? Out comes the Tempest Ultimate, and now Keeper the Force will also fall. What is going on for Trademark eSports? And in the bottom lane, while that all happened, Moon Meander solo Noob G yet again. TDM just fell apart at the seams right there.
Was that a canceled port at the top lane? I feel like someone was porting and they canceled it.
It might have been on
check.
Moon Queen by Pharaoh, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but anyway, that was again, Minus used the ultimate so late. I feel like he could have actually ulted, saved Glacius, invised him afterwards, and then still wasted the ultimate, and then still died to the Tempest ultimate. So. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. This is a really bad exchange. Ghost Marcher's coming out now actually for Keeper of the Forest, so changing up his build a little bit. Steam Boot's now finished on Pebbles, so things are... I mean, they still got some items, but yeah, that kill... I think that really would steal the deal is that kill on the Moon Queen down there. That solo kill from Moon Meander.
Yeah.
That's the hero that you really need to farm on this game, and that's a hero that's not like... It's not like a Magebrain where if she suffers early on, it's like, oh, she'll come back and farm fine. And no, she really is really item dependent. It's not like Magebane needs a couple items or a little bit of items to farm and then farms faster.
Yeah. Oh, we see a Luna going to barely get away right there. Moon Queen was chasing, but a great Mesmerize came out by Succubus to stun Moon Queen. Of course, Keeper in place. Luna still running away. You got Keeper the Force and Moon Queen are both chasing. They really want this kill. You got to think they're chasing forever, though. They better get something out of this with the resources they're using. Keeper the Force doesn't have its ultimate, and you see a sleep right there. Again, it's going to be taken by Moon Queen. But, you know, Keeper the Force, he can't do anything without the root. So, a lot of chase going on right there from TDM, but nothing happening as a result, and Magebane just continuing to go at it here at the top lane. You almost kind of feel like TDM is getting just so desperate. You know, they are in a very desperate spot even, so it kind of makes sense, but they're just trying to make anything happen. Now, they are going to get a second tower here, and so, again, more good news, but... Man, you got a Magebane now that is 456 gold per minute as well as being level 11. Haxford is just already taking off.
12-minute treads, Runed Cleaver. I mean, that is so early. And you got to attribute that he's got pretty much all the CS he wants. He's got a free lane. They killed Kongor. But yeah, you got to think, if that root was not used up in that top lane, they would have actually maybe been able to net a couple kills. So all of that does trickle down, and it does make a huge difference. So,
yeah, Magebane is going to fall back. He's applying a little bit of pressure to the tower. You see it's even below half life here. So we do have Jerizai running in as well as Pebbles, but blink away from Magebane, and he will be more than fine. Speaking of Pebbles, obviously a portal key pickup on him would be very useful here, but he's really not even close to it just yet. He went the bottle. Steam Boots first, that's fine, but being under-farmed ain't helping, unfortunately. Keeper the Forest, 320 gold per minute. Again, Keeper the Forest continues to have a solid game when it comes to farming, just like he did the first game. He actually did a very good job there, but not the greatest this time around. Now, Pebbles in the middle lane jumps on a Succubus, but he gets completely countered on. It's almost as if that's what Complexity wanted. And Limp will fall when it's all said and done. So now a 10-2 hero kill advantage. We're only 14 minutes into this game. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't think it's going to happen. It is Game 3, and, you know, you definitely want to have a chance of a comeback, but Complexity is rolling over TDM here early on.
They are. I mean, one thing leads to another. That's really the name of the game here, and that Kongor kill really set up the game. Portal Key now picked up on B-Kid, so he's going to have that other initiation tool on top of the Portal Key on Tempest, on top of the Wrath of the Pharaoh from Pharaoh. So they have tons of initiation. And on top of that, they have a free farming Magebane that is easily going to carry this to the late game. Not a chance that Moon Queen is going to come catch up and farm. Not with the earliest of Rune Cleavers that I've seen in a long time. So,
Yeah, it's up. So you got that very, very quickly. Look at this roam going on by Complexity here at the bottom lane. 4 of them are here. Pharaoh launching out that tormented soul. Going to actually hit Moon Queen even, so doing a little bit of damage to her. Now Moon Queen just going to hide in the jungle, hoping that they don't dive her. Looks like that is going to be the case, though. She has a Hungry Spirit just for some regen purpose. Eventually we'll turn that into a Whispering Helm, of course, but really just not nearly enough for where this game is at right now. So we have passed that 15-minute mark now, and Complexity is just going to group up here at the bottom lane again without Mage Bane. They don't need him, though, with the success that they have had. Tempest, he is ready with a level 2 ultimate with that Portal Key and everything. He also got the Portal Key, of course, on Succubus. He got the Wrath of the Pharaoh from Pharaoh. And then Aluna will eventually follow up, obviously. So, yeah, a lot of jump potential here on the Hellborn team already. And this tower is going to start taking a little bit of damage, but the Legion team is somewhat here, actually, to defend it. But Complexity says not worth it, not worth the risk. We got a Mage Bane free farming still. Let's just go ahead and let him get even bigger.
Yeah, and he goes for an early Mighty Blade, so probably going to see an early Shrunken Head on him. And normally we don't see that. Normally we see, especially with a Mage Bane farming this fast, you would see a Geometer's Bane, and I actually would have maybe preferred to see that picked up, or unless that's someone else's Mighty Blade. Let me just double check. No,
nope.
it is his. Okay, so it's already delivered, but he wants to go that early Shrunken so he can actually be active in team fights and maybe just end this early because they feel like, I mean, they have this game. They really do. Unless they throw action in the mid, Limp is going to go down very easily to all that initiation coming out from Complexity. Franzi the one to pick up the kill.
Yeah, he obviously, again, there's just so much got-you potential here on Complexity's side. You need to have, and you look at the vision on top of that. I mean, right now, the only word set that I currently see is actually at the Ancients of Complexity. They have 0 defensive wards right now. Not to say that hasn't been happening. I'm sure it has been. It's just kind of despawned by now or even counter-warded. But there's really not much vision for them to work with, so they're just going to keep getting jumped here. And that's going to make things continue to be very difficult. Now, the second Conqueror kill being attempted here by Complexity. You see the Tree Dogs are running in, actually. So our Legion team, Trademark eSports, they're very aware of what's going on. And they are kind of grouping up, and that will get Complexity to fall back for now. So Complexity is just trying to make something happen here, again, of being a little bit bored, perhaps, of TDM playing so passive as they need to be. But TDM reacts very nicely and stops what could have been the second Conqueror kill already, but... Oh, wow, they need to fall back. Yeah, you see TDM trying to make a move, but just not able to catch up once again.
Yeah, I mean, they have no initiation from TDM at all. No Portal Key on Pebbles. Even with that, I don't think that they're going to have the damage to take out this team on Hellborn's side. None of them are really squishy at this point. Even Aluna has about 900 HP without vestments. I mean, none of them are really squishy, like I said. And, yeah, they just have no way to get back in this game, I feel. They're going to have to play this passively, but Mage Bane's always going to out-farm you. Yeah. He's sitting here at this top lane constantly just applying so much pressure, and it's too much to handle. If they decide to take a fight, he's going to have a TP scroll, I'm sure, to get back there and fight immediately. So it's the best of both worlds for Complexity.
Yeah. Well, we got the Ancient stack at least for TDM, so again, trying to make the positives here out of a very, very gloomy situation, but... Man, 11,000 gold and experience deficit, only 18 minutes of the game. Very bad. In fact, raise that even up a little bit more as Haxray just solo pushes that top tower. Oh boy, 512 gold per minute for him. He's just about enough gold to finish the Shrunken Head now, and as well as already having the Rune Cleaver and the Steam Boot. So really, TDM just moving as a team. I guess that's kind of what they're forced to do again. Now, they are going to spread it a little bit here, but... You know, they kind of need to move it as a team because as they keep going back to this, Hellborn set has so much got-you potential. Look at that. TDM finally falls back, and Complexity says, oh, time for Conqueror again. Yep. They go back into the Conqueror pit, and TDM's going to run over. But they may actually just commit to this one, depending on how much TDM puts in terms of reacting to this here. So,
if TDM fights a fight here and loses, that's 100% game, in my opinion. They can't come out back from that, especially with no items on really anybody. They have an Astrolabe. That's the biggest item they have on their team right now. So, and that's on the Keep of the Forest. But yeah, there goes Haxor. I mean, right away, he's like right on cue. They know that they're not going to waste their time contesting Kongor, and who's wasting time is TDM is wasting time because they need the farm, not Complexity right now. And still, Tempest actually going to come down here and solo Kongor. It looks like with all his elementals up and split. Mage Bane's back down here. He does have a DD. I feel like he can just kind of jump in there and solo it. Yeah. Just delivered his Shrunken Head, by the way. So,
in fact, there he goes. He jumps in. The DD Rune just tearing up Conqueror. And down goes Congress, and now Give It the Force. He thought about going in, but now he falls back. He gets jumped off by Mageman, though. With Mageman with the token alive and that Shrunken Head, he activates that going in right here. Pharaoh is going to put up the mummy wall. See Pebbles was mesmerized in the background. Mageman, the Mana Rift coming up, but not enough for the kill. Mageman and Fallery, but the Tempest ultimate from Jesse coming out, and that should just clean up the Legion team right there. Moon Queen is trying to run away. Not going to happen, though. Soul's Blessing wasn't even used by Jeraziah, but it doesn't matter. GG well plays are called, and Complexity will be moving on to the grand finals as a result of this victory, and that sets up a even more so great series now.
Yeah,
that's going to be coming up, because literally the winner of the next series that we're going to be casting on Honcast will be going to DreamHack Winner 2012. So that is a cool thing, but in the end, obviously for TDM, they were so close. They had their chances in both the second and the third game. Well, more so the second game. On the third game, it was a bad start, obviously, but had their chances. But Complexity, man, again, they are Complexity after all.
Yeah, that level 1 Congo kill really changes. It does change everything. I mean, the lanes that you're supposed to win are no longer winnable.
Yeah.
A Moon Queen 1v1 against a Pharaoh. I mean, Pharaoh actually can fare quite well. Wow, that's really funny. With the Hatchet Shield against Moon Queen, because Moon Queen's not the strongest laner, but still, she should have had a much easier time. But when you're playing at a huge level difference like that early on,
yeah,
that sets the tone for the rest of the game, and it changes the entire strategy you have. So Congo kill, that level 1, really made the difference in that game, in my opinion. I thought the lineup actually TDM had was great. I just think that Congo kill played too much of a role in that game. And then, of course, game 2, first of all, the Corrupted Disciple pick. I wasn't a huge fan of it, and of course, kind of an interesting Tempest build. Couldn't get the jump off because he had no portal key. Initiating with no Shrunken Head as well with the push book, it just didn't seem to work out at all. But nonetheless, Complexity played a great series this entire game, and so they're moving on to the grand finals. But yeah, like I was mentioning earlier, it makes this much more epic because now, before it would be like it just wouldn't be as epic. Now we have the winner of this matchup gets to go.
We'll go.
So yeah, it's going to be epic. TDM taking on Trademark eSports coming up just in a little bit. So make sure you guys stick around, grab something like a little bite to eat or something. But they're already hosting the game. They're already getting ready. So yeah.
Yeah, as you can see, well, you just saw on your screen right there. That's the brackets that we're looking at. So again, Complexity, they're in the grand finals. They're going to wait now the winner of this, but this means Trademark and TT Esports, the winner of this best of the 3 series that is going to be coming up. They're already hosting the lobby and everything. So here in the very near future, apparently, we're going to be jumping into it, and we'll find out which team will be joining both Complexity and then, of course, Cats Gaming from the CIS region at DreamHack Winter 2012. It is going to be a lot of fun, guys. So excited to see what happens. What a great series we had there in the Winners Bracket Finals. Cannot wait to see what happens in the Losers Bracket Final. So Trademark Esports taking on TT Esports. That is going to be coming up next, guys. Sit tight. Once again, though, I'm Breaky CPK. Joining me is Tralfmador. Follow us at our Twitters, at Tralfon.
And at Breaky CPK.
And check out the Facebook as well on Honcast, as well as even at Honcast. A lot of updates going on there. So we'll see you in just a couple of minutes here, guys. Sit tight. As I said, grab a snack. Be back quickly, though. TDM versus TT Esports coming up next.